How can you not publish books for kids when you're the #1 comic book publisher?
Yep.
How do you not know what to do? How do you have to go to a lesser publisher, and by lesser I mean market share, to say, do this for us?
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting, comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
So, Dal, I had a very specific way I was going to start this episode of Contest of Challengers.
Okay.
But because of the conversation we were just having, I wanted to throw an anecdote in for the timeliness, just for your benefit.
Cool.
Because people listening will have no idea what we were just talking about.
Yes.
But this is an appropriate corresponding story.
Okay.
So I'll add it in, and I think it's of genuine interest to people who listen to this comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Podcast Network here in Chicago.
Cool. I'm sorry, who's speaking right now? I mean, you were just speaking, and you are again?
First of all, I paused because no one was speaking.
It's
so,
true.
haha, there's a joke.
It's true.
And secondly, you were just speaking.
I was. W. Dal Bush was just speaking, and who was I speaking to?
Me.
Okay. You are not yes-anding me at all. You are stopping everything dead. Twice.
I never made it past...
This is some good comedy right now.
Past certain levels of improv class.
People are working real hard tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your anecdote.
So, a retailer got their secret shopper report. Now, there are some things I didn't know about the secret shoppers. By the way, it's not us. Nor is it anybody we know.
No, because I would have read it.
It's not anybody we know either. The secret shoppers aren't allowed to buy the comics or ask about the comics or come into the store on Tuesdays before 3 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Just to make sure that the books have been received, I assume.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
This store got flagged for selling the books a day early.
Okay.
Only they didn't.
No?
The person came in at 2:36 p.m. Wednesday.
Oops.
Bought the 2 books.
Uh-huh.
Went home.
And said, I did buy these books.
Scanned the receipt.
Uh-huh.
Photoshopped the date and the time to be Tuesday.
So they could still get paid for doing their job.
So they could get paid for doing their job. However, this whole transaction was done via Comic Suite.
Uh-huh. Which logs everything.
Right. So there's a transaction number.
Yep. You can go in and go, it's right here between this one on Wednesday and this one on Wednesday.
So they could say, look, it corresponds. So Diamond is like, all right, let's double check. Diamond could go into their master system and say, no, you're right. Everything else is exactly the same, except they changed the one number in the date and one number in the hour.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
I mean, come on.
Wow.
So, here...
Why work that hard instead of just doing your job the day you're supposed to do it?
I'll tell you why, because there's more to the story.
Ooh.
The secret shopper, done through investigation...
Sure. Because it's like a third party that does it. Diamond's paying like a company to do these things.
But... anybody, if you know the company, anybody can sign up to be a secret shopper. You and I could be secret shoppers if we wanted to.
Okay.
This person, on social media, is good friends with the owner of their competition store.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Diabolical.
So it wasn't just, I messed up on my job. It's, I'm trying to get you in trouble.
Wow. Man.
Dirty pool.
Yikes.
Dirty pool. There was somebody else had an anecdote tied to it that I literally forgot right as I was about to say it, but about another form of
subterfuge.
Yes, in regards to secret shopper reports and things.
How dare!
But the way I was going to start this episode was to say that there's definitely something in the air here in Chicago lately.
Humidity.
Because there are more, and I actually was kind of hoping you would say something like
charcoal,
like San Diego related, but. Nope. You didn't. But I also said here in Chicago, so that kind of narrowed it down. but maybe the anticipation of being in San Diego.
Nerd sweat wafting in from the West Coast. Coming in on the night breeze.
No, what it is I want to say this delicately, but there are more crazy people on the streets.
In Chicago or in San Diego?
In Chicago.
Okay.
I wanted you to think it was San Diego related. It's not.
Sure.
Recently, we've had a particular gentleman who has been coming in and causing a little bit of a ruckus.
He does. He's gone from being disruptive to an impediment to our business.
And he is not welcome anymore.
Nope.
He is he barks things out at imaginary or things that only he can see. Likes picking things up off of a shelf and slamming them on the counter, or grabbing the phone and chucking it on the floor.
That was the breaking point, literally and figuratively. Was picking up after being told to not take a enamel pin and put it in his pocket. He decided.
How rude of you, by the way.
He decided that the proper course of action would be to walk around to the front of the counter and then pick up the cordless phone and then throw it as hard as he could on the ground. That's usually the rest of it. It's a bit of a nuisance, but live and let live. The point where you're breaking things in the store after trying to steal something is where I say, you know what, I could do without this.
Right.
This isn't helping me.
By the way, I can't believe A, that phone is still operating.
Fixed it.
Optional. B, that's the same phone we've had since we opened.
Sure.
We haven't had to replace that phone in 10 years.
Here's what's neat.
And I'm looking for reasons to, and it even survived that.
Here's what's neat about being old. We have not needed to replace that phone because, frankly, we don't use that phone a whole lot. Most of our business isn't conducted over the phone in the same way that might have been 10 or 15 or 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember 15 years ago it being a time where if anything broke with the cordless phone, replacing it was a nightmare because you had to reprogram all of the speed dials and stuff. Because you were part of a multi-store chain and you'd have to communicate with a lot of different stores all the time, every day. And now it's like, oh, we're one store and we don't call out to anybody, really. Nope. There's no need to program anything into the phone.
No, all we call out to are people with special orders.
Yeah.
And then they choose whether or not they want to show up, which is 50-50.
Sure.
But anyway, today there was a woman who didn't come in the store, but I had commented out loud saying, why do people always need to stop and fix their shoes in front of the door?
Seems unsafe.
Quick side note, there was a guy who came up and was peering in the window while I thought he was eating a hot dog, and I said out loud, why do people always just have to peer in? Like, you could just come in. Man, you could literally just come in. And with that, he came in and bought 5 comics.
Cool.
Yeah.
He heard you through the window.
Right.
Oh, I should come in? Okay, will do.
And it wasn't a hot dog. It was like a cookie from Starbucks.
Oh, that sounds good.
Something like that. So anyway, this woman, who after I had mentioned, Gina had said that she'd seen her walk by a couple times.
Neighborhood lady?
Yeah. With that, a guy, just a tall guy, was just walking down the street on his headphones. And then from a distance, I could see her, yelling in his direction. And as he got close, she took a swing at him.
Whoa.
She went to hit him in the face, and give this dude all the credit in the world. He just leaned his head out of the way, kept moving.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't raise a hand to her. He didn't swear. He didn't even say a word. He just, dodged it and kept going. And I'm like, she's coming in, isn't she? She did not come in.
Okay.
But it's the time of year. We're just seeing more of that kind of thing.
There's something about summertime in Chicago that definitely, maybe it's like solar flares cooking people's brains, but something is happening where people are getting a little bit less controllable.
Yeah. Do you remember what day of the week we recorded last week?
I don't.
I can't remember if I told the Samantha anecdote on last week's episode.
I don't think so.
Because it had to happen. It happened last Saturday.
Uh-huh.
Because that's when she worked. The last time I worked with her, you worked with her Monday. But I don't think I did.
I don't recall any Samantha anecdotes.
But I got to tell
recently.
you, the number. You definitely heard this story. I told you that night. I just don't know if we recorded.
Okay.
You'll remember it when I start saying it.
Uh-huh.
It's just that you and I have so many conversations that are similar in nature that
Sure.
I never know, did we record that or not? Or were we at the store? Were we somewhere else?
To be clear, I'm recording everything you say all the time. It's just only some of it makes it to the podcast.
Well, it's just that you had to be prepared, so when all your files get subpoenaed...
I back everything up. I mean, it's constantly updating to the cloud.
Sure. Backblaze. It's a wonderful program.
Sure. Also Google Cloud and Apple
I think we talked
Google
about
Drive.
it. So it's Thanos wins.
Yes. Okay, yes. You did tell me this.
Right, but was it on the podcast?
No, it was in the car.
Okay. So here it is.
Yes.
I was at the other end of the store.
Because we were going to somebody's place Saturday night. It was after you had worked.
Okay.
So that's where...
Okay.
'cause we recorded Friday.
Yes, yeah, we could not have recorded Saturday because we were at that party.
Yeah, we were someplace.
Yeah. Okay,
Anyway,
good.
okay, so tell the story.
So I was at the other end of the store. Somebody comes in, and I hear a little bit. And basically, he comes to the counter and says to Samantha, "Do you have the Thanos Wins Omnibus?" Now, you know this, and I know this, and she knows this. That's not a thing.
Yeah, it's not an omnibus.
There is no Thanos Wins Omnibus. To my knowledge, there's no Thanos Omnibus. There might be.
There might be. It's possible, but there certainly isn't one for Thanos Wins. There's only 6 issues. You can't
Thanos
make an
Wins
omnibus out of
is the Donny Cates story.
Yeah, Donny Cates, Jeff Shaw, I think?
Yeah.
Something like
And it's not even like Thanos Volume 1 or Volume 2. It's just called Thanos Wins.
that? Yeah.
So she pauses for a second because she knows there's no Thanos Omnibus, and he says, "Do you even know what I'm talking about?" To which, like that, you don't say that to somebody.
No.
That's
seems-
like gatekeeping.
That seems rude.
And honestly, the punchline to this is that he didn't know what he was talking
No.
about. He didn't even know what it was, because his justification for wanting it, which you don't need,
Uh-huh.
like, I don't care why you would buy it, but I heard about it, it sounded cool. So she comes over, she's like, "Is there a Thanos Wins Omnibus?" And I go, "No, it's just this one trade here, but we had." And so he's like, "I'll take that." So she goes back to the counter. He's with a friend or someone. And he then proceeds to mansplain Squirrel Girl to the person he's with. And he doesn't even get it right. Like, he's wrong in his description, which I won't go into detail. But it was just... I mean, he's you know exactly the kind of person I'm talking about.
I do. I overhear them occasionally. It's always disappointing.
So I hadn't heard the "do you even know what I'm talking about?" part until after he left. And after he left, and she hadn't heard the Squirrel Girl part, so I turned to say, "That guy," and she's like, "Oh, you're not kidding. Did you hear what he said to me?" And with that, a customer comes up and goes, "Can you believe that guy?" I'm like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah.
So, like, everybody had a different little bit
Sure.
of this. Like, wow, he managed to offend everybody when he was in the store.
Yeah, it was a little... That story's a little, like, Rashomon of stupidity.
Yeah,
It was great.
exactly.
It was
Exactly.
great.
Oh, my goodness. My goodness. So, Dal, as alluded to earlier,
Uh-huh.
as we are recording this on the kind of 5th year anniversary of Challengers being the recipient of the 2013 Will Eisner Spirit of Comics Retailer Award. It's
Really?
San Diego.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, here's the thing. It happened on July 19th
Okay.
in San Diego,
Uh-huh.
but it was July 20th in Chicago.
Okay.
So how do you celebrate that?
I don't.
How do you... What day do you pick?
I mean, it was a Friday night, right?
Right.
So, the Friday night, then.
Right, but it was Saturday morning for us.
Right, but Friday night.
Okay. That's what I would as well, so it was technically yesterday.
Sure.
But today is the day we found out about it.
Yeah.
Oh, time zones.
Oh,
time
the
zones.
world.
Right? So, what I'm alluding to, of course, is that San Diego Comic-Con is happening right now.
Yep.
And...
Let me check. They did not call it off.
Oh, wow, okay. Good.
And I want everyone listening to know I did pick up my phone and glance at it for the visual component of that joke.
Yes.
I didn't just pause and then say it. I acted it out.
Before we get any deeper...
Like people, like voice artists who, in the booth, you could just stand there and read stuff, but, I mean, sometimes to get the performance, like, you have to, like, grip the lectern, or you have to, like, swing in the air, or whatever.
Did you know Tessa Thompson was the grandmother in Moana?
Really?
But the grandmother is so old.
I actually didn't know that.
That is a total in-joke from today,
Okay.
working with Gina, and nobody will get that except for her.
Cool.
So, there you go, everybody.
Hilarious.
Did you know, and I don't know if this is a joke or not, that Tom King has a bodyguard in San Diego because of
Yeah,
all the death
pictures with
threats?
him.
Yeah, But
Supposedly the San Diego Comic-Con gave him that?
okay, but in some write-ups, bodyguard was in quotes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe not.
So I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
But, like, he's on a panel and there's this big burly dude standing behind him.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a thing where he thought it'd be funny.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
I don't know if it's super funny to pretend that people want to murder you.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I guess
security
whatever.
at the San Diego Comic-Con has gotten, over the last few years, serious business.
But did you hear how Dan DiDio started that panel?
I don't remember.
Like, introducing him as Tom King, the guy who refused to let Batman and Catwoman get married. What's up with that? I wanted a wedding. Everybody else here wanted a wedding.
Uh-huh.
Like I bought a tuxedo. I bought getting wedding gifts.
Mm-hmm.
When that's kind of a dick move on his part.
It's a little bit crass to throw him under
Yeah.
the bus like that. Especially, I mean, I'm sure it's all in good fun, but, I mean, some people are legit upset about that, and, you know, fans and business people alike, and that's Dan DiDio's decision.
Yeah.
Like, don't pretend it's like, he wrote the story, what do I know? Like, you're his boss, you approved it.
Like, he told us there was a wedding. We
Yeah.
thought
What?
that's what we advertised.
What?
So what's happening is a lot of announcements, and we're going to cover a lot of that.
So many announcements, Pat.
Yeah, and so many today alone. But summing up San Diego, and I haven't been there in 4 years. I was last there in 2014.
God, it's been like 11 for me.
And I noticed that, like, I was there in 94.
Mm-hmm.
I was there in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
I was there in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those aren't my only times, but I was there on those years.
Sure.
So I have to go 2024.
You have to.
Yeah.
There's no choice.
But I mean,
Book your airfare now.
I got plenty of time to worry about that. If it's even in San Diego, then.
Are you going to go to the Hall H panel for the Harbinger Wars movie? Is that...
You mean Harbinger Wars 3?
No, 2024, no.
Okay.
We won't be on 3 yet.
No, because all I have to do is wait until the next day and watch the 13th Doctor panel at work today. Because it's already up online on BBC America. Sure. A full hour-long panel.
Was the only footage they showed the little minute thing they put up? Okay.
The whole point is they're trying to make Doctor Who accessible for everyone.
Yeah.
Like people that have never watched it before.
I'm glad for that.
And they're not talking about anything. They had a lot of specific questions that just like, we can't answer.
Sure.
You got to watch. But
one of the things that I'd read was that they definitely were approaching this season, like you said, very much for new fans, and in doing so, we're kind of shying away from stuff that had a lot of baggage to it.
Yeah.
In favor of like telling new stories and creating situations where everyone watching it is experiencing it the same way.
Like, don't expect classic monsters.
Yeah.
Don't expect, like, as far as we know, like, we've seen her TARDIS, but it wasn't in the trailer. We saw it like backstage.
Or was it? No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. However, one thing that I could not find anywhere online today in San Diego, you can buy her sonic screwdriver. It's already for sale.
Oh, okay. Sometimes that stuff happens. I mean, not to make it about other conventions, but I've been to non-comic conventions where oftentimes a supplier will order basically airlifted a crate or a skid of something to be the first ones in the United States.
And I get it, but I mean, it's
so
the same.
That. And some of the books that debut at San Diego,
right?
They get 200 copies, and that's all that's... The rest of them are coming on a boat, and they'll be here in a month.
This is an exclusive. This is the same company that makes all of them, with the same packaging.
But I mean, all that stuff isn't exclusive either. It's just, we are paying extra money to get these here right now. Like, these are coming on an airplane.
Sure, but sometimes, like with Top Shelf, those things are only available at shows.
Sometimes. And I mean, there's definitely show exclusives. There's so many show exclusives.
My point is, I'm not worried. I'll get this. Yeah. But I'm like, if I can order one now, I can't.
No. Because the rest of them are on a boat. They will get here in 2 months.
So this is everybody's been dumping out their news stories leading up to it. Boom Studios always does 10 days of announcements leading up to it.
Sure.
Things like that. We'll talk about the bigger ones today.
Okay.
But there were some that came up during the week leading up to this industry's big event, although it's barely this industry's.
Yeah, it's kind of adjacent to this industry for some of it.
Club member Jesse Connor was in today, and he tried again to get tickets this year and couldn't get any. And he's like, "Am I missing it?" So I like really talked to him for a while about what San Diego is about, and it made me, because I always feel a little bit like, oh, everybody's going to be there and it's so much fun. but you only ever get to experience a tiny percentage of that.
Yeah, you're going to see a sliver of it.
Like
a lot of that convention you're going to have to find out about later.
Cullen Bunn isn't there this year, but he was going to go,
Mm-hmm.
and his plan when he was there was to not even set foot on the show floor. All the things that happen are things that happen in different places, and you can't experience that. Like, oh my god, there's a Doctor Who panel with the 13th Doctor. How great is that? I would never even try to go to that.
There's some insane number of people, and I might be getting this number wrong, but I think it was like 200,000 that go to San Diego Comic-Con without having San Diego Comic-Con tickets.
Yeah,
they can't even go inside the convention center.
I believe it. And
just to experience the stuff around it.
Like, the last time we were there, and people who were listening back then, Ashley and I did a little show diary every night. We talked about our experiences, but one of the things we did was we had dinner in a different restaurant with a different person every time.
That's a good idea.
And just to make sure that we, the experience is always something new or what have you.
Sure. There's a lot of different Chipotles you can go to. It's true.
There are. Yeah. And the further you get away from the convention center, the less busy things are.
Sure.
So we did repeat one restaurant twice because everything else was packed. Like, let's just go back to that one. It's fine.
Sure.
But
was the restaurant you went to twice Ralph's?
No. No, actually, it was a really good little Italian store.
That was a joke.
Restaurant. Sure, everyone who's listening has seen Big Lebowski. They know what Ralph's is.
It's going to be back in theaters soon.
Although, I have a fun San Diego Ralph's story that also includes Amber Benson. I say also as if you all knew she was one of the people we had dinner with, but this was from 15 years ago. 15 years ago. Anyway, some of these announcements aren't even San Diego related. For example, Wizards of the Coast.
I'm familiar with their work.
Who produce Magic cards.
Amongst other things.
Dungeons and or Dragons. I believe that is their full title.
I think the full title now is Dungeons, Dragons.
Okay. They're getting rid of their direct sales department.
Yeah, which makes sense.
But, along with that, comes an across-the-board, line-wide price increase.
Yeah, so it turns out that one of the companies and businesses that got hit by the escalating trade war between the United States and basically everybody is Canada, and specifically trading cards and playing cards are going to see a tariff increase as they go to Canada, and so like SRP just went up for Canadians.
And they haven't announced how much.
Yeah, I imagine it won't be a lot, but it's definitely accumulative. So, I mean, you're going to get, you're going to pay 50 cents more per pack. But then if you're getting a box of cards, congratulations, you're paying $20 more.
Yeah, and we found this out because we got a letter from one of our distributors. Mm-hmm. But the email made it seem like it was cause and effect. They're getting rid of their direct sales department, and because of that, they have to raise prices.
I read it as two different news stories.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's necessarily that, or maybe I'm getting it wrong. But in general, the thing I'd read was that specifically because of tariffs. So our prices are going up?
They're going to have to, yeah.
Okay.
That's the letter, because you're obviously reading, you're not quoting, but you're talking about a news article you read.
Yeah.
The email we got specifically said Magic and D&D, all their prices are going up, so like we don't know when. Maybe you should stock up now on all the existing products so you can get it for the lower prices.
I mean, it could be a thing where they're trying to have parity in North American markets.
Maybe, but I mean the email from our distributor specifically said all of these prices are going up.
Okay.
We don't know when. We don't know how much. Yeah. And I appreciate their attempt at a sales tactic. Like, if you buy everything now, you'll have them for a while.
Sure. Which
is a thing that we occasionally do. Like, we're not going to be carrying any... I want to say Blue Line. That's not right. Not Ultra Pro.
BCW?
We're not going to be carrying any BCW stuff. And we're like, all right, we'll take all of your folio boxes.
Sure.
Just to have them for a while.
Right.
So, that's a thing that does occasionally work. But it's a weird... But the email made it seem like cause and effect, which I know it could not have been.
Yeah, especially because one of the things I read about how they were getting rid of their
sales
direct distribution was that basically all the people who'd be working in that part of the company are now going to become sales reps, where they will be working with stores for not selling them things necessarily, but administrating the DCI in-store tournaments and demos and like coordinating all of that stuff rather than like packing and shipping boxes of cards.
While we're on the subject of this particular game and supply distributor, so we get a weekly email, or I don't think you get, with all of their new solicitations by heading. Like, oh, you want to look at? Do you want to look at board games, role-playing games, card games, action figures, supplies, all the different categories? And it's the same email each week, but it's a link to each section.
Sure.
Then you click that section, and you have to log in. It's always log in to see pricing. So I do that every Friday.
Okay.
Also, on Thursdays, when we get our actual shipments, we get Xerox sheets with all the new things on it, which I don't even care about looking at because I do it through the website.
Oh, man, but you got to know how many stores don't even look at the website.
Right. Now, our specific sales rep has started sending me emails that say, I mean, they're not, I mean, I say me because you don't get them.
Right.
But it's to all accounts of, here's all the new things by section, which is the exact same thing that's on their website.
Sure.
So now we're getting the same information 3 times, and it's annoying. I understand why it's happening. Yep. You just pointed it out.
Yep.
The number of people, I'm sure that there's people that just do it one way. That story I told you yesterday about a retailer who's like, Diamond doesn't do this one special thing for me anymore that it didn't do for anybody else, and nobody would even have a reason to use it because it's so backwards, but I need everybody to complain to them so they'll do it for me again. No.
Yeah, it's hard for me to think that anyone's doing anything wrong on the gaming distribution side, simply because I know we send out an email to all of our subscribers on Thursday saying, here's what's coming out next week, and then anyone who's getting stuff in the next week will get an email on Friday saying what you're getting in and everything that was in the Thursday email as far as product goes. So they'll get that 2 days in a row, and I don't feel bad about that.
I do.
I don't.
I mean, I would almost not want to do... First of all, the amount of effort it takes to do the Thursday email versus the return is always very depressing. Which I'm sure, I mean, the lack of response you get from the Friday emails is the same kind of thing.
Pretty much, especially because I have to get up early on my day off.
No, you choose to.
It's the best way to do it.
I mean, we've altered our... the current Thursday email used to be Friday, but I'm like, well, we're not doubling up. We'll have to change it by days.
Sending out 2 emails in a day.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a matter of how many people even see it.
Sure.
But going back to the gaming part... I'm sure each store has a specific way they do it. Like I just said, my specific way is I get their Thursday email, wait till I'm at the store Friday, then I go through it.
Sure.
And the thing that bugged me today was the individual email that we got sent about the new card gaming product. Mm-hmm. When I'd say, oh, this is interesting, what is this? You go to their website, there's no image, and it's just a dedicated screen that says, this Pokemon thing, and a price.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But what is it? Like, if it's like $16, I know this is not a booster deck or a booster box or a box of decks or whatever. But when the price is close to what a booster box would be, and it doesn't say booster in the title, and the picture is just the Pokemon logo, I'm not ordering that.
Nope.
And I'm not going to bother emailing saying, hey, what is this?
Yeah.
If you can't tell me, it's like when we get the Marvel Legends, the Marvel solicitations that say, Avengers Infinity War, Product 1, Product 2, Product 3. I'm like, what are these? They don't know.
Right.
But you know, you got to be the first to get the information out, because otherwise stores will order from somebody else.
Sure.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, so I'm moving to another thing. I have paper.
You have notes?
Well, it's a press release that I printed out because I wanted to highlight certain points.
Okay.
Another announcement that was from before San Diego this week. And basically, Marvel and IDW are announcing middle grade comic books designed for younger readers, featuring Marvel's most popular characters, published by IDW.
They announced 3 titles for it tonight.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Well, here it says, launching in November 2018, a Spider-Man series featuring both Peter Parker and Miles Morales. Mm-hmm. Followed by an Avengers series beginning December and a Black Panther series in January.
Okay, yeah, those are the same ones they talked about in their panel.
So these are series, like think of the Star Wars Adventures.
Issue ones, yep.
So these would be ongoing younger reader books, but here's a quote.
Did you know that Spider-Man comics weren't for middle grade students anymore?
Apparently. Here's a quote from C.B. Cebulski, editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics.
Explaining why he can't do his job.
We want to share their journeys with our younger fans firsthand.
We want to, which is why IDW is doing it.
And here's a quote from Sven Larson, director of licensed publishing of Marvel. Marvel is committed to delivering unique and accessible content for our younger audiences and fans.
Yep.
How can you not publish books for kids when you're the #1 comic book publisher?
Yep.
How do you not know what to do? How do you have to go to a lesser publisher, and by lesser I mean market share, to say, do this for us?
That is insane.
I don't get it.
It is insane that Marvel Comics as a publisher is like, we have no idea how to make a Spider-Man comic for a 10-year-old. Literally no idea. And no interest in figuring out how. We would rather just have someone else do it, and then they can pay us. So way back when I think Disney first bought Marvel, one of the fan theories / fears was that Disney as a company would be uninterested in the meager profits the direct comic market turned out, and would be very likely to do what Disney does for everything, which is license the characters out to different manufacturers. Disney doesn't make, in quotes, any consumer products. Disney's consumer product division is about licensing out those characters to other people to then make those products and pay Disney a license. The comic books could be the same thing. There's no reason for Disney to care about Marvel spending money to commission and produce Spider-Man comics when they could just let Scholastic make Spider-Man comics. Like, they could let anybody, and just, there'd be no risk. They wouldn't have to worry about, profits or losses or anything. They're making the same amount anyway.
But it's akin to Disney buying a t-shirt manufacturer and then having someone else make t-shirts for them.
Well, I guess that's kind of the thing about this, is that it could be nothing. It could just be, Marvel's doing fine, and Marvel has tried hitting this market a bunch of times and hasn't been successful, but IDW has had some success in translating Hasbro properties into reliable income for Hasbro, so why can't IDW, who's been doing the Star Wars ones for Disney as well, just keep doing that, but for the Marvel characters. Instead of Marvel wasting their time and money on a market they clearly don't understand, let someone else take the risk and just reap the rewards. That's one way of looking at it. The other is the scary thing of, if this works, what do you need Marvel Comics for?
Right.
I mean, Marvel Comics already, compared to Marvel films and Marvel games and Marvel everything else, is, at best an IP farm. And at worst, a frequent embarrassment, depending on what executives are caught doing what, and having done what in the past. That said, I don't think C.B. Cebulski dressed up like the Karate Kid today, so I think he's already ahead of other people in the Disney Marvel infrastructure.
Even though he does have a sordid past.
Yeah. Oh, or Kira Yoshida. So could be nothing in the sense of what it means for Marvel, but it definitely could be warning signs of Marvel Comics maybe not being as much of a part of the corporate structure perpetually like we would assume it would be, or hope it would be.
And let me make it clear, I think the idea of having quality Marvel character comic books for younger readers is excellent.
Absolutely.
It's a thing that we are 1,000% behind.
It's a no-brainer.
I just can't believe...
be all ages, or at least younger reader, all ages comics for Spider-Man. All the time, every month, forever.
I just can't believe Marvel can't do it themselves.
Yeah, it's more than anything, it's embarrassing for Marvel Comics, as again, like you said, the #1 publisher in the direct market, to basically throw up their hands and go, dunno.
We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's almost no way to spin that where it makes Marvel look like they know what they're doing. It really looks like the opposite. It's pretty embarrassing.
So now I'm going to crumple up this piece of paper and discuss.
Dunzo.
And I don't have a game plan for the rest of the stuff. I can just start shouting out things that I heard.
I brought my phone.
Okay, but I mean, your phone is just you scrolling through websites.
Comic news.
Right.
Let's start at the top and work our way down.
Okay.
Until we get tired of talking about this.
All right.
Finally, today, DC made an announcement that we had heard about a little while ago.
Oh, man. This whole San Diego is nothing but me giving you I told you so.
It's just confirmations about things that you heard from other people.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Let me jump in with another announcement from earlier.
Uh-huh.
Again, we told you months ago that Kelly Thompson is writing Jessica Jones. I just didn't know it was going to be digital only.
Yeah, I wonder if
digital
she did.
First. Yeah, I'm sure she did.
Because she'd mentioned that basically, so what Marvel's doing is they're releasing Jessica Jones as a new series written by Kelly Thompson, art by basically a guy who draws like Sarah Pichelli. As digital...
But, well, the art looks very
great.
good. Yeah.
As digital first comics, basically 2 issues worth of material every drop, and then a drop each month, and then at the end of 3 months, 6 issues worth of material will exist in 3 discrete packages, and then in print, they're going to release a collection that has all 6 issues, more or less, worth of material in 1 volume.
Now, are they starting over with numbering?
Mm-hmm. Number 1.
Okay. So this would be another, the 3rd volume of Jessica Jones trade paperbacks.
Exactly, yeah.
That's not confusing at all.
No, Marvel's done a great job of making sure there's a whole stack of different volume 1s to deter any potential new readers to properties that they might have experienced in another form.
I'm honestly surprised they're not having IDW publish these trades.
I think it's inevitable.
Sure.
Someone's going to.
So anyway, that was announced a few days ago with a day teaser of, oh God, what was it? Blind Spot.
Blind Spot. Yeah, on July 17th they said, Blind Spot, and then just the date was July 18th, 2018. So people were like, maybe there's going to be some sort of announcement or something that's going to be in Wednesday's books is going to be this thing. No, it was the announcement that Kelly Thompson's writing the new Jessica Jones series. It's available digitally right now. It'll be available in print in, I think, October is the first volume, and then they will do another... I think the second wave of issues will be 1 issue a month instead of essentially 2 issues on the same day every month.
Yeah.
So it'll be 3 months before the first softcover print collection comes out, but then maybe 6 months after that for volume 2.
Yep. That's how I explained it to someone today.
Yeah, it's a little confusing, so much so that there was an announcement from Marvel, and then Kelly Thompson had to do a string of tweets where it's like, let me explain this better.
Here's some clarity.
Which, I mean, if you're a freelancer or like her, a contracted employee, the PR part isn't really your job, so maybe the PR department should have done a better job explaining this to people.
Well, I mean, IDW's PR department is busy at San Diego today, so they didn't have time. Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong company. Boy, I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of that one.
Oh, for sure. Well, if Marvel stopped embarrassing themselves by telling people they don't know how to publish comic books, this wouldn't be an issue. Speaking of issues, issue 994 will be the debut of the new Detective Comics ongoing creative team. You like that segue?
That was good.
As we'd spoken about before, the creative team that's currently been working on Detective was always meant to be an interim team. They were telling a quick, 3-month story, and they were going to move on to something else. 994 is the debut of the new ongoing creative team that will take us through Detective Comics 1000. They are
Peter J.
Tomasi
and Doug Mahnke.
Doug Mahnke is going to be the initial artist for Detective Comics. I'm sure there will be other people spelling him, but he is going to kick it off. It's something we heard about a little while ago that Peter Tomasi was going to get tapped to take over Detective since he had moved on from Superman. And, I think it's a great choice. He's written a ton of Batman stories. I think they've all been really good. He's worked with Doug Mahnke a bunch.
I'm excited for this. It's really good.
Seems like a winner.
That is Article 2 of the You Heard It Here earlier.
Yes, probably.
There's 2 more.
Probably more to come.
Yeah.
This is one that I don't know if you've heard about, and I'm probably going to say that phrase a whole bunch tonight. The headline from Comic Book Resources is Marvel Knights relaunch underway from Donny Cates and more. Yeah,
Donny Cates is walking around San Diego with unfortunately colored hair, and has he's relaunching Marvel Knights.
Yeah, Donny Cates is listed at least in this article as the showrunner for Marvel Knights.
Like Teeny Howard is part of it.
Yeah, it definitely seems like in the same way that Event Comics launched Marvel Knights, Black Mask seems like they are taking over Marvel Knights for the next run at it, because it's Teeny Howard from Euthonauts and Assassinistas, which are both from Shelley Bond's Black Crown, but I know Teeny Howard has done some stuff for Black Mask.
Also, Hack Slash.
Matthew Rosenberg, who's done We Can Never Go Home and
Four Kids Walking the Bank
from Black Mask.
And currently Multiple Man.
Vita Ayala, who's doing The Wilds, which I think is Black Mask.
That is Boom.
Is The Wilds from Boom?
Oh, I can't even... You know what? I can't even tell. Yeah. Maybe. That's when I'm bad at my job.
Yeah, so those 3 are going to be the initial writers alongside Donny Cates. I don't think anything in here lists what they're working on.
No characters, no publication frequency, no schedule.
This is for the 20th anniversary, and so the line will debut with a one-shot called MK20, number 1, that will debut in November by Donny Cates and Mike Deodato.
There are several announcements that infuriate me because they don't come with a schedule or a timetable.
Yeah.
Just like, this is a thing, so people will already start saying, oh, can you put me down for that?
Cannot.
No, they don't even know.
Not.
What? No.
No. Definitely not happening.
I gotta tell you, half of these announcements, I'm like, oh, yeah, excellent. The other half are, oh, man, really?
Well, let's see which one this is. Scott Snyder, amongst many other announcements from DC this weekend, announced one of his next projects. It is a Black Label project, I think, no? Or maybe I'm thinking of a different thing. Yeah,
no,
this
it's
is
not Black Label.
I was thinking of Jeff Johns' announcement,
Yes,
which I was like, why was this Black Label when it seems like it's set in the DC universe? This is a book that is firmly set within the DC universe because it stars The Batman Who Laughs, which is also what the miniseries is called. It's launching in November. It is by Scott Snyder and Jock.
It is made for you because it's your favorite Bat character and your favorite Bat artist.
Yep.
I just wish David Finch was on it. I'm sorry, I meant Jason Fabok.
Yep.
So easy to get them confused. I don't know why.
I don't like either one. I don't really have any excitement about this. I knew from the popularity of the Batman Who Laughs that we'd be seeing way too much of him over the next few years.
Yeah.
So fine, it'll sell well.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against Jock as an artist. His work isn't to my taste, but I know he's popular with people.
Sure.
It's fine.
This was in the context also of Scott Snyder talking about his Justice League plans. Like, he's doing a 2-year story, and at the end of the first year, a lot of the elements from Justice League No Justice and Metal will come to a head or come back to play.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not super into Scott Snyder stuff right now at DC, so
yeah, I mean, I like Justice League better than I've liked Metal for sure.
They're all empty calories for me. I'm not really getting anything out of any of them so much as it's just like, okay. But I mean, if they're exciting for people, that's great. I don't have anything against, again, those creators. It's just not working for me right now. Speaking of not working for me right now, Marvel decided to announce a whole bunch of Spider-Man adjacent titles.
So many Spider-Man adjacent titles.
Spider-Geddon.
Oh my.
One we'd seen a preview of before, and that they released an image of the Dr. Octopus book, the Superior Octopus. Who is it by? I can't remember.
Christos Gage.
I'm looking at it in the worst way possible.
And
unfortunately clicked on someone's live blog of the panel.
Oh, okay. I'm telling you, it's Christos Gage.
It's the worst.
And Mike, not Mike Hiddleston.
Mike Hawthorne.
Mike Hawthorne.
Yeah. Christos Gage and Mike Hawthorne.
But they say series.
This thing says series. But okay, so cutting to the end of this, they announced a bunch of books, all of which feel like tie-in series that will run alongside Spider-Geddon and then disappear. In the same way that they, when they were doing Clone Conspiracy, they're like, Prowler! And we were like, why would you publish a Prowler book? This has no possible way of lasting. It was never meant to last. It ran alongside Clone Conspiracy, and then 2 months after that, they canceled it.
I mean, I felt like they tried to let it go further.
All of these creative teams are in the Marvel way of, we're not going to tell you some miniseries because we don't want to commit to a certain amount of issues.
Right.
We're going to launch it. If it fails, it fails.
And also, Marvel thinks retailers order miniseries lower than they would ongoing series.
They're absolutely right. I mean, they have the numbers to prove it, and I would order it the same way. If it's a new number 1 for an ongoing series, I'm going to order it higher than if it's a number 1 for a book that's only going to last for 5 months.
Sure.
So, Superior Octopus. Spider Force by Christopher Priest and Paula Sequeira.
I'm sorry, I believe it's just Priest.
Article I'm reading says Christopher Priest.
The slide that Marvel showed is the logo is a spider symbol and the word Force, like I think the old X-Force, the Remender X-Force font, and then it just said Priest. Who was the artist?
Paula Sequeira.
Paula Sequeira, and then the other names.
I'm sure it's pronounced differently. Spider Force is Kane, one of the Scarlet Spiders, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah.
Teaming up with Jessica Drew and Ashley Barton from the Old Man Logan storyline, alongside 2 new characters, Spider Kid and Astro Spider. And it is an official Spider-Geddon tie-in.
Yay!
That's... Oh, and covers by Shane Davis, which, gross.
Spider-Girls...
Finally.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Spider-Girls I didn't hear.
Oh, yeah, Spider-Girls, which is... Spider Ladies. It's the old Spider-Girl logo, but with an S at the end.
Okay.
You know, the Mayday Parker one?
Sure.
So it's, God, I can't believe it's in the same panel. I can't believe they didn't mention it there.
Well, this is... The panel was impossible to navigate, so I'm just looking at headline articles from CBR, and they did 3. And it was,
okay. This
was
did
not the third one.
Via the Beat.
Okay. Yeah, the Beat was the one who was live blogging it. I'm like, I cannot navigate all of this noise, because so much of it is what people are saying on the panel, and so much related to stuff that is already announced.
Yeah,
but so it's someone like Donny Cates saying like, "Oh, I'm talking about Venom." Like, well, Venom's already out. That's not an announcement.
Spider Girls. Now I can't remember the creative team. I know the creative team for the.
Let me see if I can dig through
the
this
last
Beat article. See if I can find it.
The last announcement, which I can't remember the title to, and I couldn't see the art really clearly. It looked like it was a giant mecha spider, but I don't think it was.
Spider Girls #1. Jodie Hauser, Andres Genolt, covered by Yasmin Putri. It is. Yeah, 3 Spider Ladies.
Hard to tell who.
Yeah, it looks like Mayday Parker, the young girl who was Spider-Girl for a minute, Aranya.
Aranya. Which, by the way, Walgreens has an exclusive Aranya pop vinyl and an exclusive Juggernaut.
And then the third one looks like the teenage Peter Parker daughter from Renew Your Vows, is what it looks like to me.
Okay.
And Volta Spiders, which also didn't get reported on anywhere I read. Colin Bunn, Jed McKay.
Oh, I thought that was the last one.
Javier Polito, Sheldon Vela, and more. Covered by Camo, October 2018.
What is that cover, though? Can you tell?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's a whole bunch of... It's like the Spider-Verse 2-issue thing they did way back when Spider-Verse came out, where it looks like it's going to be a bunch of short stories featuring a ton of different characters. But yeah, it looks like a mecha spider thing in the background.
This could just be the fault of the reporting, but nothing says what any of these things are, really.
Again,
except the slides.
I don't think they would like you to know that, because that will determine how excited you are. The final one that I had was Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider #1 by Shannon McGuire and Rosie Campy, covered by Bengal, which I actually got from the teaser images they sent out.
Good work.
I'm like, oh, it looks like a Bengal cover.
And Shannon McGuire has her Marvel debut with X-Men Gold Annual 2.
Correct. So here's the thing. And
the best part about that announcement, on the Beat it said, Spider-Gwen... Gwen Spider instead of Ghost Spider.
So close. All of these creative teams say to me, this is going to run for Spider-Geddon. None of these are creative teams, as fun as the books might be, that you would launch a legitimate ongoing series with. These all feel like stopgap books, not designed for long runs.
Yeah.
I firmly believe there will be probably a different Ghost Spider book coming out sometime in 2019 that will be a more high-profile creative team for that character than, no offense, somebody who this is their second Marvel comic, and an artist who I've literally never heard of. Like, that does not seem like a team that Marvel would put together for a book they have high confidence in. So much as a book where your job is to come out for 5 months.
I just don't like that all of these things are coming out at the same time all of the Infinity Wars mashup books are coming out.
Yep.
It's too many things.
It's a lot of things.
It's too many things. I was I was at the dinner with a friend last night who was asking a lot of questions about the way the industry works now. And
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Short answer.
And literally he said, why don't they just publish less books? Don't you think people would buy more copies of less books? And I said, oh my god, have you been reading Dal's blog?
Yeah, right. What else? I'm avoiding some non-comics news to get to more comic stuff.
I mean, I could spout things, but I don't want to ruin the order in which you're going.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to some stuff, and I definitely want to do a little wrap-up at the end about non-comicsy stuff that we might have heard about from San Diego Comic-Con that we want to talk about. I guess this is sort of important, because we talked about it in previous episodes. DC this weekend announced the pricing structure for DC Universe, their video and comics streaming service.
Yeah, so I went on to pre-order yesterday.
Really?
And
Okay.
And I couldn't log in. And
you have until Sunday to get the pre-order
Right,
pricing.
but none of my passwords worked. I'm like, wait, it's got to be one of these. And then I hit the send me my password. And I had to type my email address. I never got it.
Weird.
I never got that email saying reset your password.
Weird.
Yeah.
So DC...
I figured I would do it for the first year to see.
Okay. DC Universe's streaming service
the store will pay for
is
it.
still $8 a month, or you can you can have the option of paying annually at $75 if you sign up by the time you've already missed, because you're hearing this after it happened, July 22nd, Sunday, the end of the San Diego Comic-Con. I believe you also get an additional 3 free months.
That's correct.
So you're basically getting 15 months for $75 instead of 12, which is basically $5 a month.
Yeah.
Which is a more appropriate price,
And
I think, for what they're offering.
Dal, after seeing that Titans trailer, who wouldn't want to give up DC Universe all your money?
Probably Batman.
Fuck Batman.
Yeah, they gave that guy the business. Boy, did I not like that Titans trailer at all. I don't want to say it was as bad as I imagined, because I honestly had not high hopes for it, but I was
hopes.
I was looking forward to it a little bit. It looked abysmal, is kind of the first word that came to mind. It looked laughably cheap and embarrassingly juvenile. Certainly the thing that leapt out at me was that Dove from Hawk and Dove, the pacifist one, is straight up eviscerating dudes with the ends of her cape. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, who involved in this didn't read any of the books? Like, I get that, like, it may be not that important to, like, Greg Berlanti, amongst the landscape of shows that he's executive producing,
sure,
to care about the fine details of them. I'm sure that he already, gave the people who are actually running Titans and writing Titans the copyrighted template that he has to make a DC Universe show, so they know who the tech person is who's going to be sitting in the chair looking at a bunch of monitors, who the gruff, stoic, heavy hitter of the group is going to be, who the wisecracking one is. So, I mean, they can slot in all those characters, and,
sure, mm-hmm,
and that way they can make their Greg Berlanti DC TV show. They've got the formula. But it just felt like absolutely the worst DC show, and certainly the one I would least want to watch, where they said, hey, what if we took all these characters, but they're all damaged, and they all have baggage, and they're all just fighting the darkness inside of them? Like, zero interest. Like, literally zero interest in watching that show. Watching nearly anything beyond the trailer they put out. It is so unappealing to me on an aesthetic level, and then just beyond that, like, the story you're trying to tell with these characters is so ill-suited to them. And they can mention, like, oh, it's like the George Perez, Marv Wolfman stuff, because, they were going through stuff, and, like, they were fighting against their mentors, and it's like none of this is what they were doing. Like, this was not those comic books. Like, you can't pretend it was. I've read them. This was not them. This 100% was not them. So that looked horrible. At a panel today, they showed off the trailer for Young Justice Season 3 Outsiders.
I saw that was up. I didn't look at it.
It looked good. It looks just like more of what you got out of Season 1 and 2.
Which is why I didn't look at it, because I assumed I would know it, yeah.
Honestly, like, the first 2 minutes of the 5-minute trailer was reminding you of what happened in Seasons 1 and 2, mostly Season 2, because it's been years. And the one thing I would be maybe glad for with this streaming service is, I should rewatch those Young Justice episodes before Season 3 starts, because I don't know what the hell's going on. And this feels, this is very much, the third chapter in a book. But that isn't on until 2019, and that means that what's on in 2018 when this thing launches is Titans, and I don't want to watch Titans. I just gave up on Cloak and Dagger today.
Did you really?
I did. I made it very far, but the last episode, which was a step in the right direction, was still something that was very hard for me to pay full attention to, because I didn't like elements of it.
Yeah, I watched one on Monday when I was working out, and it's a bad show to work out to, because it's just a drama.
And it's so...
the whole time I thought, I could be watching another Angel right now.
Episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Cloak and Dagger are enormously dull. It's the point where I was telling you that I felt like the show was Cloak or Dagger, because they barely felt like they were in each other's shows.
Yeah.
And by episode 5 and 6, it's like, this has to be going somewhere. And the places it's going, at least in these episodes, is so boring. It's just boring. And it's not, the actors are good, and some of the verisimilitude of it, like the New Orleans of it all, is kind of nice. And, there's some grounding of the characters. But then there's episodes where it's like, what happened to your supporting cast? Where did they go? Where's Cloak's parents all of a sudden? Like,
one of them got shot in the head and lit on fire. The lawyer.
Oh, yes, yeah. Which I thought that episode was okay, but again, it's a lot of drama, and you, I think, since you were farther behind than I was in it, you were mentioning that, like, you were by episode 2, you're like, why are they using this, like, reading people's minds power? Why are they doing this, like, seeing their fears and hopes thing? Like, and they just...
And you're like, oh, they double down on that.
They lean into that. That's whole episodes where that's, like, the only powers they use.
That's the thing that we said after seeing the previews. Like, they each manifest their powers in the first episode. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
No, they go whole episodes not using them.
Yeah, and then it's like they forget about it.
Yeah.
Cloak and Dagger. No offense to it, but it just was not working for me anymore.
Or the way that, I mean, spoilers, but who cares?
Yeah.
Was Tandy trying to kill herself, or was it just an experiment?
I thought she was trying to kill herself, but the next episode she's like, no, I needed that to unlock my powers. Now I can use them all the time whenever I want. Like, okay?
All right.
That's not how I read that.
Because I was going to say, like, I didn't either. I thought she was trying to kill herself. And
that way.
And then when she just comes out of the water holding the knife, I'm like, how did that even work that way?
Yeah. But in the next episode, like, the near-death experience was like when she was a kid. That forced her to manifest her powers.
So here's a question I have.
Okie dokie.
And this is very specific to a thing of an episode, but again, if I'm spoiling it to somebody, I don't care that much.
No.
She manifests a dagger.
Yep.
That cuts through the door of a safe.
Yes, the metal door of a safe.
She's holding that dagger. Mm-hmm. Why doesn't it cut her hand?
Magic powers.
Okay, because I thought you were going to say, she's using the point. She's not. The dagger's all the way through the safe, right by her hand. I guess they can't hurt her?
Yeah, I'm going to no-prize this and say that her power won't work on her.
Okay.
Like, if it... Because she can throw it and it can embed in walls. If someone picked it up and threw it at her, I don't think it would stab her.
But, like, if someone else tried to pick it up, would it cut their hand?
Maybe that happened in episode 8. Maybe episode 8, someone's like, I'm going to use it as a stabber. Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't think of that question until we just started talking about that episode.
Okay.
It wasn't like a watch saying, hey, hold on a minute.
Yeah, so...
But I don't like the idea of that dagger being able to cut through,
metal.
4 inches of steel.
It's made of light. Light comes from space, Patrick. It's space metal. Getting back to the DC Universe thing, I don't love the pricing. I'm sure we talked about it before and said that $5 to $8 would be fine, but after seeing that Titans trailer, $8 seems really expensive to me for something that, again, does not include any of the CW TV shows, none of the more recent movies. That's a huge gap in their library. Like, it's great that they have the Batman animated series and Justice League Unlimited, I think, and I presume the Young Justice earlier seasons.
I mean,
but what they're adding in is, like, the Wonder Woman 77 TV show.
It's like $6 a month, not counting the 3 free months.
Yeah, I guess. It doesn't feel like a year's worth of material to me. Do you know what I mean? But maybe I'll feel differently. Maybe I'll get it. But I'm not watching the streaming services that I'm paying for right now. I haven't touched Hulu or Netflix.
Oh, also, this is my subscriction. I wasn't letting you use
in a while.
You clearly have no
I've
interest in it.
occasionally wanted to get the WWE Network login.
Every quarter you want for
but then I don't
NXT.
Then I don't
takeovers.
do anything with it. I have an Amazon Prime subscription, and I've only watched like one thing so far on Amazon Video, and that's because they have the worldwide distribution for Amazon Riders, Kamen Rider Amazons. So I'm watching that.
That sounds like a really horrible cross-promotional thing.
But okay, so real quick aside.
Oh no.
Kamen Rider, like Transformers, is a franchise that's built to sell toys. Like, the whole point of it is for the characters involved to have, like, the role-play things that you as a child will go to a store and buy and pretend that you're the characters in it. So each season there's a different kind of belt or whatever to henshin. There's a different thing that goes in it. Is it a cartridge or a bottle or something else? The next series is going to be like watch faces and stuff, and don't worry, you can buy 18 of those. Amazon Riders is like the gritty, mature Kamen Rider. So it's completely not about selling toys, and it's about, instead of like a 22-minute with commercial TV episode, it's like a 45-minute no commercial streaming episode. So the takes, the shots are longer, and everything is a little grittier, and they take a while to do any of the suits and the powers and all that stuff.
And fuck Ultraman.
And it's, by taking away all that stuff and making it like adult and gritty, it's so much less fun. Like, part of it is, yeah, it's a toyetic show. It's supposed to be kind of goofy and colorful, and you know, there's some serious stuff, but in general, it's a commercial for toys. You rob it of that, why are you even making it? What is the point of it? So I did one episode so far, and it's like, I'll probably do the rest because I'm getting them for free, but it's not like, I gotta see the next one. It's like Titans. Like,
well, I mean, you're not getting it for free.
Why aren't you having fun with it? Why are you making it something where it's like, everyone in it is miserable? Why do you think that's clever? That's like the stupidest thing to do with... Kamen Rider's a superhero show. It's the stupidest thing to do with superheroes. What if we made them all angry and angsty? Holy shit, like, I hated those Zack Snyder movies because that's what their answer was. Everyone loved Wonder Woman because it's like, oh, what if she actually enjoyed her life? What if she was an optimistic person who wanted to help people and didn't need to be tortured for it? Look at every goddamn Marvel movie. Everyone! Even characters who have their hands destroyed in car accidents or are held captive in a cave and forced to make weapons. Those movies are fun. Fun movies. What else, Patrick?
I can name some things.
Why don't you name something?
I will name 2 DC announcements that are going to shock everybody that doesn't listen to this podcast.
I'm sitting down.
Kelly Sue DeConnick is going to take over Aquaman as the first ever female writer for that character.
With Robson Rocha.
With Robson Rocha on art.
Yeah.
They haven't announced Dan Abnett is writing it until issue 46.
Okay.
But they didn't say if she's taking over immediately at 47.
Don't know. It may also have a new number 1. That wouldn't surprise me.
No, it is not.
It definitely won't.
It's continuing in numbering.
That seems like a mistake.
Because this next announcement does start with the new number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Grant Morrison is taking over Green Lantern.
Kind of.
With a brand new number 1.
Called The Green Lantern. He's doing it with Liam Sharp.
Which I said, oh, not a big Liam Sharp fan. And it's more of a space cop procedural, even though it's Hal Jordan back on Earth. The Lantern Corps exists, but we're not going to be seeing, like, Jon Stewart or Kyle Rayner.
Yeah, it sounds like this is replacing both the Green Lantern Corps book and Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
So this is The Green Lantern, which is why maybe it's called that, because it's The Green Lantern book.
And one of the things I read was, well, he's a cop, but is he a good guy? And I thought, that's not a... It's like...
I'm calling it right now. He's got a bunch of secret space families. All these planets. Hal Jordan got a bunch of space wives and space husbands out there.
Okay.
Yep. There it is. The other thing Grant Morrison mentioned is that he's not going into this with like a huge mega story he's trying to tell. He wants to do a lot more...
Short stories
done in one, beat cop kind of stories. And I think that's a clever way to maybe make that book pan out, is to stop doing the 6-month, 8-month, whatever mega events.
Those are, especially when they're in deep space and other planets, those are the ones that interest me the least.
Yeah, and on top of that, it seems like the mode that Green Lantern's been in pretty much since Jeff Johns took it over. It's been kind of going from mega event to mega event, so maybe a little bit of a rest where the character is just on his own, doing his own thing, and those stories conclude, is maybe a better way of doing it.
But I don't know how canon or current it is, because it doesn't seem like it's necessarily our Hal Jordan.
I think it's current. I think it seems like a DC Universe story.
Okay.
It's set in the DC Universe, but I don't know how much Grant Morrison's going to be working with, Scott Snyder or Brian Bendis or whatever to lock things in. It may be kind of doing its own thing for a minute or two. Jeff Johns had a few announcements. One was a Shazam series with Dale Eaglesham.
Okay.
Which looks like it's coming off of some of the ideas he was playing with in the New 52 Shazam backup series in Justice League, as well as
fun.
Some of the Flashpoint ideas.
Yeah.
The first cover is all of the Shazam kids as their Shazam people on a roller coaster, just having fun. Seems pretty solid. The other thing was finally officially announcing the Three Jokers project that he's doing with everyone's favorite artist, Jason Fabok.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a Black Label book, which I was super surprised by, because Black Label is meant to be more of an out-of-continuity, or at least not tied to continuity thing. And this is a storyline coming directly out of the New 52 Justice League comic books. So I kind of don't know how you could do that in a non-continuity way.
We'll find out.
I guess. You'll find out. I don't plan on reading it. What else? Anything else from you?
No, those were the main points. The big X panel and all the X-Men reveals are going to be Sunday, so we don't have any of that going forward.
Yeah. There's some other stuff, but nothing I really feel like talking
there was
about.
Joss Whedon is writing a Dr. Horrible one-shot from Dark Horse.
Don't care.
And that just makes me think that, because they're doing it for the 10th anniversary, but that just means they're never going to film another one.
Yeah, Mark Silvestri is going to be doing a 7.5 issue Black Label series where Batman and the Joker are in it together. So finally someone has the bravery to pitch to DC a book where Batman and Joker are in it.
It's called The Deadly Duo.
Thank God.
And that is the book I was referencing earlier that is not on the schedule. They've announced it, but they can't say when it's coming out, because they have to have it all done, because Mark Silvestri is not a very timely...
You've got two options you can do with it. You can either put it on the schedule now. Well, so you can either do what they're doing, which is wait until Mark Silvestri has drawn it all and then say, okay, we're actually releasing it now. Or you can put it on the schedule and just have Tyler Kirkham draw half of it.
Yeah.
And no one would know the difference. So I don't know which one's better.
Why announce it now if you don't know when it's coming out? Hold it till New York.
Yeah.
New York is in October.
Yeah.
It's not a million miles away. Why announce it when you can't say when it's coming out? That's like just saying, hey, this property has been optioned. It may never be a movie, ever.
Cool, optioned.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Because and honestly, when I saw that cover, I just looked at it and said, oh, Tony Daniel, what's wrong? Oh, it's not Tony Daniel.
No.
Which, by the way, kind of disappointed that he's back on Batman.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Joel's out of the mix now, so someone's got to
But I mean,
take her spot.
it goes from Lee Weeks to Matt Wagner to Tony Daniel.
Okay.
What's Mikhail Yanin doing? He could
probably do the next arc.
Yeah, and also Mitch Gerads is definitely doing part of Heroes in Crisis.
Okay, cool. Maybe they'll have some connective tissue for Mr. Miracle then.
Definitely. Rather than deconstruct one hero, he's deconstructing the entire universe.
Cool.
There was an event that took place on a boat all about Heroes in Crisis, which I did not read about.
No, me neither. I don't care.
Oh, I do. I just haven't.
I mean, I care about the book, but I don't need news about it parceled out on a boat. You know, I'm okay waiting for the book to come out or a formal announcement from a publisher.
But he's moving fast, and he's got a nautical-themed Pashmina Afghan.
Cool. Staying on DC Comics for a moment, they announced a big event coming up in October between Wonder Woman and the Justice League Dark.
Oh, yeah.
There's a month-long event called The Witching Hour where basically Wonder Woman becomes a superpowered witch and the Justice League Dark have to fight her.
So on the plus side, it's one writer for all 5 issues. It's James Tynion, the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And not only is he doing... It's
a one-shot to start and end.
Right,
and
which
then
the typical DC thing of it's Wonder Woman, Justice League Dark, and then the closing one is Justice League Dark, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, so 2 different $5 one-shots.
2 issues of Wonder Woman and 1 issue of Justice League Dark in the middle.
Yeah, sandwich right in the middle.
So at least it's not a miniseries, and at least it's organic.
Yeah, and it's 5 parts done in a month. It sucks that you're paying $22 if you read Wonder Woman or Justice League Dark that month to get the entire story, but
I just would have preferred it be throughout those 2 series only.
Just 3 issues?
No, I mean if you do 5 issues if you want, but I don't like the bookends.
Yeah, okay.
I want it to be just the series issues because now we have to everybody who gets Justice League Dark now gets Wonder Woman for that month and vice versa.
Probably.
And those 2 one-shots?
One of my pet peeves in the industry, maybe not my biggest one, but certainly one that consistently bothers me, is when companies, mostly Marvel and DC, have issues that say number 1 on them that are not the start of a story.
Yeah.
The Marvel Rising thing is like 5 different one-shots, each of which are number 1. But they are 5 parts of a story. You can't just read them out of order, and you can't read them on their own. Like, they're you have to read them all. It's a 5-part story, but instead of calling it 1 through 5, they called it Marvel Rising Alpha, and Marvel Rising Squirrel Girl and Ms. Marvel number 1, and then Marvel Rising Ms. Marvel and Squirrel Girl number 1, and then something else, and then Marvel Rising Omega.
Did I hear that they're going to keep going but rename it?
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay. Another pet peeve in this same situation, using this Justice League Dark Wonder Woman crossover, is that we can't just subscribe. Like, you can't say, oh, I want to get down for that. We can't just add you to a title. We have to put you in as special orders for 5 different books.
Yeah, I mean, technically there's a way we could make a project for it, but that's a bunch of extra work we have to do to make a project for it and make sure that it's pulling it correctly and whatever. It's a nuisance. And certainly, like, if you're someone who's already down for Justice League Dark, I don't know how that would necessarily... Would it try and pull it twice because it's in a project for it and it's coming in as a special order instead of a subscription? Yeah, it's a nuisance.
Oh man, the idea of it being a nuisance just reminded me of another earlier announcement we didn't talk about.
What's that?
I'm very underwhelmed. What if?
What
if month in October?
We are getting more upset the longer we talk about San Diego Comic-Con. Have you noticed that?
Marvel's doing another weekly series of What If one-shots in October. And
good October. That was so light.
They're as specific as What If Ghost Rider? Mm-hmm. What If X-Men? What If Spider-Man?
What If X-Men?
Now, I told you this, that I am all for Marvel bringing back an ongoing What If series.
Solid concept. That book meant a lot to me as a young reader.
Sure.
Oh, man.
You know, you can have different creative team every issue. I don't care. But a series of one-shots, again, if someone's like, I want all of those, we have to sign you up to 5 different special orders.
Yep.
And you're not even saying what the What If is. Mm-hmm. Of these concepts, only one of them has a genuine, what if Flash Thompson was Spider-Man? Mm-hmm. That's not the title. You had to dig to find that.
Yep.
The rest are just arbitrary characters.
Yeah, the X-Men one in particular is like, they're like cyber characters in cyberspace, and it has to do with like cyberverse. Like,
yeah, you had said it's more like Elseworlds than
it looks like
a What If.
Some like what if the X-Men were Tron or Reboot or something, and it's like, that's not a what if. That's an Elseworlds.
Yeah.
That's a what if is this story that happened. What if this other thing happened?
You know, using a story from right now, what if Kitty Pryde did marry Colossus?
Yeah.
And one of the great things about the old What If comics was it always ended in horrible tragedy, which I felt was Marvel's way of saying, see, it had to be this way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been rotten for everybody. What if Jean Grey lived?
What if Miles Morales killed Captain America during Civil War II or Secret Empire?
Yeah,
There's
that's
an
a good
one.
one.
The story just
Sure.
happened.
Yeah. You could do that. You can do that. You can crank out 12 of those a year.
Yeah.
I'm all for an ongoing What If. I don't like this. Let's bring it back once a year with a weekly event.
Yeah.
Hate that idea.
Yeah, there's at least 12 ideas a year you could explore with What If.
Yeah.
I mean, they did 150 issues of the last series. 150. How hard is it to do this book? But the other thing was they announced a new Shuri comic book. While the Black Panther's off in space, Shuri is protecting Wakanda, I guess.
Yeah.
Seems okay. People like that character.
Sure. A well-known non-comics writer doing it?
Yeah, it's, I think, the same person who had done the Long Live the King series.
Okay.
And maybe something else. So someone who's worked on, is doing the Wakanda Forever series.
Okay, gotcha.
I can't remember who the artist was, and I don't feel like turning my phone back on. Was it Leonardo Romero?
Leonardo Romero's definitely doing something.
I think it's
that was announced this week. I don't think it was that one.
Fine, I'll look.
I'm pretty sure it's not. And the cover artist is an artist who has done album cover art. Most recently, Janelle Monáe's album. I don't think the new album, but
Leonardo Romero is doing the art on Shuri.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, I like Leonardo Romero a lot.
Yeah. I have no feelings about that book necessarily. I hope it's the people who like Shuri in the movie. I hope they turn out and buy the comic.
I feel like it's a little bit longer of a lag time with a character that broke out so well.
They didn't know, I guess.
Yeah.
It feels like the kind of book that, because of the success of the character, which honestly is how it should work all the time.
Sure.
Instead of these things where it's like, oh, well, we're just going to do this book and presume there's an audience, or we're going to keep doing this book until you care. This is a thing where, oh, you actually demanded it. You said, I want a Shuri comic book, and we're not making that, so we should probably make that. That's exactly how the publishing industry should work. Okay,
so you want to wrap up with non-comic stuff?
I do, and I want to touch on for a moment how exhausting it is reading all that publishing stuff, and how we didn't go into this saying, like, we're upset about everything that got announced at San Diego. We, like you said, half of it great, half of it not great, but by the end of it, we're just like, just make it stop.
It's just because it's so much.
There is and it's only been 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, technically we spent time talking about the stuff that had been announced in the build-up to the show. But just the amount of stuff that DC and Marvel announced, like, in the last 48 hours is ridiculous. It's too much stuff.
Have there been any image announcements?
I don't think so, or at least nothing that sticks in my brain. I don't know if they had any panels yet. Maybe they did. And that's not even counting stuff that, like, Marvel and DC talked about at the retailer breakfast. Marvel specifically is going to be doing stuff for their 80th anniversary next year that's like, oh, that sounds like a lot of material that you're going to be putting out.
Wait, did you mean Marvel or IDW?
I don't remember the IDW stuff, but Marvel for sure.
My joke was that IDW would be putting out their 80th anniversary stuff.
Good,
I told you I was going to get a lot of...
It's a good joke.
Thanks.
DC, though, mentioned something, and I'm only saying this because it got reported on the Beat, so it's for public consumption at this point.
Yeah, I didn't see any of the retailer breakfast
stuff. They're doing a bunch of foil covers or something for October.
Okay.
I'm going to see if I can bring it up, because I want to make sure I get the phrasing right, how Heidi reported on it. Look how many pages I had to go to do all this stuff. Patrick, there's so much stuff going on in San Diego. I don't like it. It was a retailer lunch, was it? Oh, interesting. DC Icons Month is October, an enhanced foil process on 29 books.
Okay. Regular covers or...
That's the entire quote.
Okay.
I assume it's going to be, similar to the lenticular months or whatever, where they just, all of the mainline books have this special process on it, and you're probably going to pay an extra $1 for it. I assume. Yeah, that's...
I did want to mention that
So
the contenders for the Eisner Speed of Retailing Award, it's the most international lineup I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You got Ireland, you got UK, you got Portugal, you got Barcelona, and you got Oakland, California.
Okay. That's a pretty good lineup.
What a great little mix, yeah.
Sure. Anything non-comic wise from the San Diego Comic Con that you were...
I started with
interested in?
the 13th Doctor panel.
The Doctor
so
Who? Nothing else that jumped out at you?
I don't know that I caught a lot of it, to be honest.
Okay. I don't know if on any of your other fandoms that there was anything that... I know there was an elite action figure wrestling panel.
I'll after we watched the Doctor Who panel, I went off to do something else. I heard Gina watching something else, and she said she watched the Marvel Legends panel, but I guess it was really brief, or she just glanced at it.
I guess the actual full panel is, I think it's Saturday, maybe?
Okay. Her takeaway is that they're doing a Black Panther movie Claw Marvel Legends.
Yeah, the things they showed off so far were more Black Panther movie figures. They're doing a King T'Chaka in his opening scene costume. They're doing, I think, a couple different, like Black Panther's, like one where he's more kinetic energy charged.
Okay.
They're doing a normal paramilitary Killmonger with the mask.
Are they doing Black Panther in each of the suits he could have chosen at the end?
Kind of.
Okay.
They're doing a Shuri.
Okay.
And they're Build-A-Figure. They're doing a Ulysses Claw with the Sonic Cannon arm. Mm-hmm. And the Build-A-Figure for that wave is M'Baku.
Okay. That's cool.
They all the movie figures look real good. They look like the actors. They didn't... I don't think they showed off, at least that I saw, the face for Eric Killmonger. They just showed off the mask head with his, the tribal mask that he wears when he's breaking out Claw. The next rider figure is Deadpool on a scooter. I think that was it as far as new figures that they hadn't shown off before.
All right.
Because everything else will be at the Marvel Legends panel on Saturday, and then they'll put everything in the display case. Although I know DC has put out a bunch of stuff for some of their vendors, the Tamashii Nations that's doing some stuff, had some of the Aquaman movie figures that they're doing. And Mattel had put out some of the comic action figures that they're doing. And it's a fun mix of all different types of comic figures. They're doing a classic Kyle Rayner, they're doing a current Kid Flash, they're doing Flashpoint Aquaman.
That's cool.
Just a weird mix of characters. And they look good, but I'd never buy any of them, so I don't know.
I bought that Cassie Samsmark Wonder Girl. I never opened it yet.
Yeah.
Was that it for non-comic for you?
Yeah, nothing I really want to talk about.
I want to mention that we got in an order of more pins today that I ordered from Secret Headquarters in California.
Yeah.
Just a couple of new, restock of the comic short boxes, because they had those for a different price point.
Oh, okay.
A little bit smaller of a pin. 4 other designs, which they're a little bit weird, but I kind of dig them.
Okay.
There's a Silver Surfer in a yoga pose.
Okay.
There is a Jack Kirby Doctor Doom head.
Okay.
Which is excellent.
Cool.
There is this one. It cracks me up so much, and it doesn't make any sense. It's the classic Batman 66 logo, the bat shape. Mm-hmm. But instead of saying Batman in the same font, it says Stanley.
Okay.
I love it. Sure. I think it's the best.
Okay.
And there's one more that I legit can't remember.
Okay.
Oh, Mazinga head.
Oh, okay.
The Shogun Warrior Mazinga.
Mazinger Zed?
Yeah, there's Mazinger Zed. Mm-hmm. Mazinger Zed, yeah. I don't know that Secret Headquarters manufactures them all, because a lot of them are on different backer cards. Okay. But I got it from their website.
That's cool.
And they were our normal or less cost. Great. Yeah, so those pins are neat. Yeah, there's the Stanley one. I mean, and they had other different ones, but I'm like, that's too funny. I
Sure.
can't not do it. And you saw it over my shoulder. You're like, oh, the Melvins one.
Oh, yeah.
Or
yeah.
the Misfits one.
Misfits,
Misfits one. Yeah.
Because they did a Misfits head on like a Marvel corner box.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's pretty clever. You didn't get that one, though?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'd already placed the order at the time.
Okay.
No, I actually think I hadn't, but I'm not a
But the
Misfits
answer's
guy.
still no. Neither am I, but I
Yeah.
thought it was cool.
Okay. Just to remind you that we got a couple events coming up. Not only do we have our book club meeting for My Boyfriend is a Bear on Monday, July 30th. I should write these things down, but
29th, I think.
29th?
I think
30?
it's 29th.
Yeah, okay, 29th. The last Monday of the month.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We have the bigger ones coming up are Wednesday, August 8th, all day. Zach Lehner from Junior Braves of the Apocalypse in promoting the release of Junior Braves of the Apocalypse Volume 2, softcover and hardcover. August 22nd, which is also a Wednesday, from 5 to 7, we'll have Mike Norton in signing the copy of his copy, or the new release of Lil Donny Webcomic Collection, Volume 1, Executive Privilege. And then immediately after the signing, John Suntress will be in recording a Word Balloon podcast with Mike Norton.
Cool.
All on the same night, all together. It's a Mike Norton, Lil Donny extravaganza. And I really, like, we went over the verbiage for the event a little bit extra, because it's a way of, like, we want to promote the book, we don't want to alienate people, we want...
I'm okay alienating some people.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. And then September 15th is Batman Day, where we'll have a full day of Batman festivities, including 20% off all Batman merchandise and a bunch of other stuff. And those are just a small grouping of events. Also, there's the usual Women's Comics Night, which is always the second Monday. And I don't know how Correspondence Club went this week. I think there was a higher turnout, but
Cool.
I haven't
We'll have to find out
talked
at
to
some
anybody.
point. Should also mention that we do have a last-minute event. It's
Oh,
coming up.
right, man.
We've only
That's the second time
We
I've
only got
forgotten
one
that.
episode where we can mention it, so
Yeah,
we might
this
as
is
well
it.
do that.
Saturday, July 28th. Once again, thanks to our pals at Wrestle League, the Midwest's largest wrestling school, and cross-promoting with their Proving Grounds live event that very night, we will have WWE Hall of Famer Tito Santana in the store. Former tag team champion, former Intercontinental champion, El Matador, Tito Santana, one half of Strikeforce, with Rick Martel, signing from 1:30 to 2:30, Saturday the 28th
Of July, yes.
of July.
Yes.
And along with Tito Santana, Mr. 450, the Mecha Wolf himself.
Mecha Wolf.
Yeah, I led that up to have another name, but it's
Mecha Wolf, that's his name.
or Mecha Wolf 450, I guess.
Okay.
We're not really sure because we haven't
Mr.
gotten
450, the Mecha Wolf.
Mecha Wolf 450.
I guess that's the Mr. 450 part, is 450 is his last name.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, that counts. So both of those professional wrestlers
Mecha W 450.
will be signing. They'll have headshots, stuff, whatever, and we'll be selling tickets to the
we'll have
event.
something to sign, sure.
Again, that is 1 hour only, 1:30 to 2:30 on Saturday, July 28th. Thanks for tipping that in.
Yeah, sure. Again, we only have the one shot for it, so I wanted to make sure we told people
Right.
who live far
Right.
away that a wrestler's going to be in the store for an hour.
Thanks for wrestling.
And keep wrestling comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.